All right, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give in this trial will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you? It's good to hear that. Now that you're seated, please state your name in full, then spell your last name for the court record.
Michael Brown, Brown.
Go ahead, Counselor.
Is that all right if I call you Michael?
It is.
For Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you currently employed?
Counsel Sugar Article.
And what is your position there?
Currently I am battalion chief.
Battalion chief?
That's right.
And when did you get promoted to battalion chief?
Just a few months ago. I was a captain before that.
How long have you been with?
The following excerpt is from a deposition related to the matter involving Kevin West. The witness, a paramedic captain with more than 28 years of experience, offers testimony concerning both their professional and personal interactions with Mr. West, as well as insights into his personal life.
Kansas City Fire Department?
28 and a half years.
And so then will you have had training as an EMT or a paramedic?
I've been a paramedic for the last 30 years.
And in January of 2024, were you a paramedic captain?
I was.
Do you know Kevin West?
I do.
How do you know him?
Through the fire department and also a friendly relationship outside the fire department.
Would you recognize him if you saw him today in court?
I would.
Can you point him out if you see him by an article of clothing that he's wearing and where he is seated?
Blue suit, top right there.
May the record reflect that this witness has identified the defendant.
It does.
And how long have you known Kevin West?
Since he was this started his employment at the Kansas City Fire Department, so 22 years, I guess. I'm not 100% sure about that number.
Did your relationship with Kevin extend outside of work?
It did.
And how did it extend outside of work? What would you all do?
We would go hunting together, and he would come up to the house. I live on a river, and hang out for summer barbecues and things of that nature. And I would go to his house and hang out in his garage, talk about work, things of that nature.
And now, the house that you had been to of his, was it the one that was the Washougal residence on, I believe it was 34th Street?
I believe so, yes.
And is that in Clark County, Washington?
Yes.
How often would you hang out with Kevin outside of work?
It was variable. I mean, sometimes once a month, sometimes a couple times a month. When we went hunting, it was several days together. Just kind of.
Were you familiar with Kevin West's marriage to Marcy West?
Yes.
What was your knowledge of their relationship?
Objection, calls for narrative response. Relevance. Okay, to the question first.
I'll rephrase. Did Kevin ever tell you about the state of his marriage to Marcy West?
Yes.
And did he have those conversations with you more than once?
Yes.
The following testimony comes from a longtime friend and colleague of Kevin West, a paramedic captain, concerning Mr. West's personal reflections on his marriage to Marcy West. The witness offers insight into conversations spanning more than a decade, addressing marital challenges, financial matters, and discussions of divorce up to January 2024.
And so did you also form personal observations of the marriage between Kevin West and Marcy West?
I don't have any firsthand knowledge of their relationship besides the narrative that we talk about at work.
Would Kevin have talked to you about the nature of his relationship with Marcy prior to her death in January of 2024?
Yes.
And approximately when did he bring up marriage issues or relationship issues with you for the first time?
A decade ago.
Did he continue to tell you about marriage complaints or marriage issues leading up to January of 2024?
We both engage in conversations in regards to our families and matters of such.
And so what did Kevin tell you about the marriage?
Overall, it just seemed very strained for a very long time.
Did he tell you about the basis of the strains?
I think there were multiple facets to that. Intimacy, how there was some differences in how they parented, some strain about the children.
Did he express to you financial strain in the marriage?
Yes.
Did Kevin, what was the financial strain that he expressed to you?
I can't remember specifically. It was just more in the ways of Marcy wasn't working, I think, and hadn't gone back to work. Kevin was working a lot of overtime, and there was just a lot of things to try to keep up, I think, with what their financial responsibilities were. That we did not talk about.
Did Kevin West ever discuss divorce with you?
Yes.
When did he discuss divorce from, and I assume from Marcy, divorce from Marcy?
Well, I think the topic of conversation was kind of ribbon throughout the period of time that we were talking about our families and being married and things of that nature. I think it'd come up more than once, but it wasn't a new topic of conversation.
Would he have discussed potentially divorcing Marcy with you in the fall of 2023?
Yes.
Did he ever discuss financial considerations related to divorce from Marcy with you?
Yes.
And what did he say about that?
He told me he had talked to a lawyer and they were trying to go through the financials to figure out if he could afford to have a divorce with him.
And by afford to have a divorce, what do you mean by that?
Well, he was just looking at the financials in regards to what it would entail and what would be left, and the things that you would talk to a lawyer about in regards to assets and things of that nature.
Did he express to you what those financials might look like?
I don't recall anything that specific.
The following testimony continues with the witness recounting Kevin West's personal disclosures following the death of his wife, Marcy West. The witness describes conversations concerning a woman named Cynthia Ward, Mr. West's emotional state, and the guidance he provided during those discussions. Certain portions of the testimony include legal objections and are presented here as part of the official record.
Do you recall him saying that it would cost approximately $5,000 a month to divorce?
Objection, reading question. Move to strike the question, instruct the jury, and
The question wasn't answered, Sandy.
I'll come back to that question. Did Kevin ever tell you that he was seeing a woman named Cynthia Ward?
Yes, but I had no prior knowledge to that until after Marcy's passing, a few days after that.
And approximately how long after Marcy's death was that disclosure?
2 days maybe.
And what did he say to you?
He just brought the subject up. He said he'd been seeing somebody, and told me who it was, which the name was familiar, but I could not recall the person by face or acquaintance anyway.
Did he tell you how long he had been in that relationship?
I think it was just a term for the conversation was it had been a while, but I don't recall him specifying dates or length of time.
How did, so this was 2 or 3 days after Marcy's death. Where did this conversation happen?
In his garage.
What was his demeanor like?
Sorry.
What was his demeanor like?
Still fairly upset and rattled, I would say.
How did he bring up the topic of Cynthia?
He just told me. I can't remember the exact verbiage of the conversation, but he just told me what that was about. I did not know that. So.
And did the topic of Cynthia between the two of you continue?
I think I might have said something in regards to, I'm not sure how much I would spread that around and tell people.
Objection, Your Honor. This relevance, this is hearsay. Move to strike and instruct the jury.
Apparently, after the result, the legal result, and the closure note that was very mysterious. Don't investigate. I'll talk to that in the moment. You're also thinking of this
So, Michael, at some point, he brought up the conversation of, or he brought up to you something about Cynthia. What exactly did he say?
He told me he had been seeing somebody, and he said that she was willing to wait for him for however long it took, and that that was the path he was going with, was to be with her.
And what was your response to that?
I urged caution in regards to divulging that information so close to Marcy's death, and just for his kid's sake and the general situation.
And what was Kevin's demeanor like when you told him that I would pause on talking about that?
That's pretty vague. I don't know. I don't think there was a big reaction one way or the other. There was nothing that would have stuck in my mind.
And after that, did you and Kevin ever discuss Cynthia again?
I've met Kevin in person twice since Marcy's death, and both times there was conversation about her. Yes.
In this portion of the deposition, the witness recounts a second conversation with Kevin West regarding Cynthia Ward. The witness explains that Kevin's children were fond of her and that she had been supportive of him and his family. The witness also notes having limited personal familiarity with Cynthia. During the discussion, Kevin expressed that Cynthia was willing to wait for him and appeared emotionally distressed, particularly upon learning that the medical examiner would not release a toxicology report at that time.
And what was the conversation about her the second time?
Just that his kids really liked her and she was being very supportive of the situation, and I think along the lines of, what a good person she was and how much she was helping him and his children.
And did you ever meet Cynthia personally?
If I did, it would have been when she was a volunteer firefighter a long time ago. And like I said, I did not have a recollection of what she looked like when he told me who she looked.
That's all I have.
Okay, that's good objection.
So, Your Honor, the objection is this. I think the question was, it was regarding what he had said just a few days after she had passed about being with Cynthia. When the witness began to answer, I told him it wouldn't be such a good idea to talk about that so close to the death. That's actually what he told me in the interview as well. That's a comment like it's kind of dangerous to be talking about how you're with another woman so close to your lifetime. And I think that's the wrong message to impart to the jury. It's also not relevant. What he said is not relevant because he had no reaction. So there's absolutely no relevance to what he said to Mr. West.
I overrule the objection. Most of the comments of Mr. West, his reaction or lack thereof to a comment by this witness during the conversation may have some slight relevance to be returned to additional value. Bring in the jury. Welcome back. I've overruled the objection. Continue your examination. I overruled the objection. Continue your examination.
Thank you. So, Michael, he brought up Cynthia to you just to kind of walk back to where we were. What did he say to you specifically?
He said he had been seeing her and that she had told him that she was willing to wait for him for however long it took. I can't assume too much about where that came from as far as the context of that. And that was the direction he was looking to go, when it was available.
What was his demeanor like when he was discussing Cynthia?
At what point?
On that initial conversation you had with him.
He was still very upset during the conversation that we were having. He had also learned that the medical examiner was not going to release a toxicology screen at that point in time. He became very upset about that.
Objection, non-responsive.
The same.
Move to strike the remaining portions of the.
In this portion of the deposition, the witness recounts their response after Kevin West disclosed his relationship with Cynthia Ward. The witness advised him to be cautious about discussing the matter publicly in order to protect his children. The witness also confirms that Marcy West's passing and updates from the medical examiner regarding toxicology results were briefly addressed, though they do not recall specific details.
Let the last answer stand as is. However, listen to the question asked, answer that question, then wait for the next one. Don't throw in things that the question isn't designed to answer.
That's right.
And so after him telling you that about Cynthia, what did you say to him?
I think I cautioned him in regards to telling very many people about that because it could hurt his children and because this was such a new situation that I was a little shocked by it, and I was more concerned with his children, I think, at that point in time.
What else, if anything, did you both discuss aside from Cynthia when you went to go visit him? That 2 to 3 days after.
Objection calls for narrative response.
Sustain his phrase.
Did Kevin say anything else to you those 2 to 3 days after you visited him that you can recall?
Objection, same objection.
Any objection? When I ask him questions about specific things that might be relevant to the case, he can do that. But just ask him to talk about everything he said is not an appropriate way to ask the question.
Did Kevin discuss Marcy's passing with you on that day, 2 to 3 days after January 8th?
I'm sure it was a topic of conversation. I don't have any recollection of specifics.
Did he discuss what was going on with the medical examiner?
Because he took the phone call during the conversation, we did speak about that after the fact.
And what did he tell you?
Objection, relevance.
He just told me that he was expecting the talk screens to come back at that point in time, and he was told that wasn't going to happen, and he became upset.
The witness describes her interactions with Kevin West following the death of Marcy West on January 8, 2024. The witness states that they saw Kevin on 3 occasions after her passing, including a visit to his trailer and another approximately 1 year later. On the day of the incident, the witness, serving as fire engine captain, initially assisted with medications and subsequently supported Kevin directly during a resuscitation effort, ensuring he did not interfere while providing emotional support at Marcy's bedside.
How many times did you see Kevin following Marcy's death on January 8th, 2024?
3 times.
So that's that first time. I'm assuming it was the first time that 2 to 3 days after?
Yes.
And what was the second time?
When I visited him when he was living in his trailer in Sandy area, or Sandy area.
And what was the final time you saw him?
It was maybe a year ago. I don't remember the time. It could have been in September, in fall. Honestly, I don't know.
Did Kevin attempt to discuss with you what he thought happened to Marcy West during her death at that trailer visit?
Yes.
What did he say to you?
I didn't allow him to say anything about it.
And I'm sorry, it was hard for me to hear you.
I told him I did not want to hear what I didn't want that. I didn't want that information.
Here, I'm going to object to the answer to the question and the answer on the relevance. Under 403, calls for speculation, distracting, instructive jury.
Under the objection, I'll be anticipated. Next question.
Now, you would have been on scene on January 8th, 2024, correct?
That's correct.
Were you working, or were you there in some other capacity?
I was working.
And what was your role on that day?
I was the fire engine captain of Division 41 downtown Kansas Fire Station.
When did you realize that you all were responding to the West residents?
Somewhere between our station and the address. Some things came up on the computer that were abnormal in regards to wording, and then my driver engineer asked because he recognized the general area of the address, who was the reporting party, and I could scroll down to the end of the computer screen, and it showed West residents.
What was your role on scene when you arrived, if any?
Initially on scene, we moving up to the bedroom, I started helping with getting medications out of the medication box. I think maybe I had opened one medication to the can to the crew performing, but Resuscitation. Then after that, I was directed by Captain Castle to go help Kevin. So at that point in time, my treatment stopped, and I jumped across the bed to where Kevin was to try to help him with what was going on, and to also in some way try to make sure that he wasn't interfering with the resuscitation, because it was a very elevated situation.
So were you said that you were trying to help him not interfere. Can you tell me more about that?
I was just I got behind him, and I kind of put my arm around him and was kind of holding him. We were both on our knees at Marcy's head, with Firefighter Young, who was having to do airway management. And so I was just, at that point in time, more there to support him and try to, let him know that there were people there that were trying to help him, and, we were doing everything we could.